Hi! Welcome back to another drawing tutorial. This time I'm going to teach you how to enlarge a picture and also I'm going to give you some coloring tips. First of all, when you want to make a small picture into a big drawing, you have to use the square technique. The original picture was with 5 by 5 centimeters squares, and I made 8 by 8 centimeters in the new drawing. Then I made a rough sketch of all the major lines of the drawing first to get the main idea of the picture. This is an important step before actually starting to draw because you get the feeling if you have the right proportions. Now I am starting to draw the eyes. As you noticed, I used a charcoal pencil first. Now I am already using a colored pencil, but it's better always for you to use a charcoal pencil because if you make a mistake, you can always erase it. Whereas if you start using the colored pencils immediately, if you make a mistake, it will be very difficult for you to erase it later on. I usually start with the eyes because I think the eyes give the most expression to the picture. The eyebrows are usually made with small thin lines. You have to sharpen your pencil to draw the lines, and here you can use the color pencil directly because you don't want to have the charcoal pencil lines behind it. It gives a more natural look. When you want to make the shadows using colored pencils, you should have lots of colors because you can't make the shadows just by using the charcoal and then rushing up your finger like you usually do with charcoal. The color pencils usually are used with the different colors, lighter tones, darker tones, so it's better if you have lots of different colors to mix it up and make different layers. If you noticed, I am using at least 3 different types of brown, darker brown, more lighter one, and the middle tone all around the eyes, and then the black to give a deep meaning to the picture. One eye is closed, the other is wide open. Here I decided to use the color pencil directly because the eyelashes were very strong, but in the lower part you have to be very careful. The lower part of the eyes usually isn't very strong and it's made out of shadows. Here I am using the charcoal pencil first, and then only then I am using the color pencil. You also notice that I am erasing the grid lines of the squares as I move along with the picture. I erased the charcoal pencil lines I made in the lower part of the eye so that the shadows I wanted to make here were more natural, because the eyelashes in the lower part of the eye usually don't make a direct line. You can use the lighter tones of the brown in this case to make the shadows. When you make the pupil of the eye, always leave that blank spot to give it a more natural look. Lisa's eyes are here in this drawing are a grayish tone, and it's very clear that she has some darker lines inside, so I used the charcoal pencil to make a contour of the eye and used different tones of gray and light brown to fill it in. I also use a white colored pencil to make it brighter. The eyelashes here, first I use the charcoal and then I use the color pencil. When making the second eyebrow, be sure that it is even with the other one, and again make thin and small marks with the pencil, and then darken some parts to make it look more natural. You can use the brown first and then the dark pencil. Don't be afraid to use different layers, because when you use colored pencils, it's very easy for the colors to blend in. When I reached this stage, I noticed that I had to remake some of the sketch I made before starting the actual drawing. I'm just making some finishing touches here. I totally redid the nose. You can use the pencils to guide yourselves. I redid the nose after finishing the eyes, and look how I used the pencil to see if the nose was aligned with the eyes. This is very natural to happen, because the first lines are only a rough sketch for you to guide yourself, so use a light charcoal pencil, easy to erase, so that later on if you need to redo these parts, you do that in an easier way. Again, don't be afraid to use different layers of the color and lighter tones to give the impression of the shadows. Before starting painting the lips, I erased slightly all the charcoal pencil lines I made, because the lips are very strong in this picture, so I didn't want any dark line of the charcoal pencil. Look how I am making these blank spots in the lips. This is for later on leave blank and make an impression of light. So don't fill in all the lips, because if you do that, it will be very difficult for you to give a white spot of light later on. First, also, don't put too much strength in the color. Only when you are sure that the lines are correct, you put more strength in the color. Now I am using the black pencil. The lips always have dark corners and some small dark area in the middle, because in this case especially she has her lips slightly open, but we can see the teeth. I used a red pencil on top of a deep purple pencil. And now look how I am slightly filling that white area and using the white pencil also. Now I'm going with the hair. Lisa's hair here is almost white. First I used a yellow pencil, but later on I made it clearer and used white over it, and also use the rubber to erase the yellow a bit and make it not so bright. I am using also a brown pencil because she has some lines of darker areas in the hair, and you need to show that also. When you have hair with lighter tones, always put the brighter color first and then use the darker one on top of it. The fingers, I am erasing the lines of the grid, and I am using first the charcoal to get the feeling of the right proportion of the lips. I am finishing the sketch in more detail using the charcoal pencil, which I will erase later on and use the color pencil on top of it. If you make a mistake at this time or in this point of the drawing, you can erase it. If you are unsure of what you are doing yet, it's better for you to use always the charcoal. Remember, this tutorial is for beginners, and if you aren't completely sure how to use color pencils, don't use the color pencils first. Always use the charcoal. Following the grid lines of the smaller picture and the original picture, you will make these sketch lines very easily. I'm using the charcoal pencil just to give a slight contour of the lips, because they kind of blow away more like this. And now I am filling in the rest of the fingers and the hands, and the hand in this case, and the shadow that it makes when it touches the face. Most of the shadows in this picture are in a brown tone, so I mostly used a darker brown and I put more or less strength on it. Then I used this lighter tone also and mixed it with the dark pencil. As you can see, I am switching the pencils over and over again. Don't be afraid to do that, you have to switch the pencils many times. The light hits Lisa's face mostly from the right, so her left part is brighter and the right part is a bit darker. That's why you need to make more shadows in the right part of the drawing. Now I am already overlapping the charcoal lines with the pencil lines. As you can see, I erased the charcoal lines first, but I left a slight trace of it to guide myself, and then I fill the rest with the colored pencils. Then you just have to pay attention to the little details of the drawing to make the shadows look natural using the different tones you have at your disposal. If you are enlarging a picture, the details will be more visible, so you need to have an original drawing or an original picture that has a good quality. Lisa has a neck ribbon which is black, so as her hair overlaps the ribbon, you should always make the hair first because it is lighter, and then fill the little blanks with the dark areas of the ribbon. If you try to make the other way around, you won't be able to make the yellow parts stand out. So first make the yellow parts of the hair and then fill the parts with the black ribbon. I'm just finishing the hand. And then I continue this part of the hair because it will also overlap with part of Lisa's shirt and with the shadows. Again, I am filling the spaces, the little spaces between the hair, between the strands of hair. She has a pink sweater or shirt of a kind, but if you want to make the effect of the hair on top of it, you have to first make the hair and then fill in the blanks. Here I am making the major lines of the hair. As I told you before, Lisa's hair here is very a deep blonde white tone, So I'm just making random lines because I want that some part of the yellow lines stand out, and then see how I am using the rubber to erase some parts of it, and I am making the same thing in the other side. These stronger yellow lines will be used as a reference for not only the shadows of the hair, but also the effect of light in the hair. You will eventually get darker areas in the blonde hair because of these yellow traces. And look how I just fill the hair with the yellow color pencil, but using a very little strength. I am using the darker brown pencil to make the same lines of shadows, because they continue from the top of the hair to the bottom. They are mostly in this area of the forehead, and then I use the white pencil to make the hair brighter. And then I do the same thing in the other part of the hair. This doesn't need to be totally accurate according to the drawing, the original drawing, because what you want is the effect of different tones and different shadows in the hair. And again, the white to make it lighter and brighter. Then I used a very light pink pencil to fill in all the face and hand. We don't have exactly white skin, so I didn't want to leave the drawing with that area in the white sheet of paper only. So I used the very light pink pencil to fill all that area. As the original drawing also had a red darker area behind Lisa, and her hair is really very bright, I decided to make the red parts also. If you make this, you should put the hair also overlaying these red parts. Look how I use the red pencil to make small lines in the edges of the hair. I am adjusting the forehead area here to make it a little brighter. Don't be afraid, you can erase a bit the drawing and try to correct it or perfect it. And then I am using the same red lines crossing the blonde hair to make the effect of a messy hair with the red back. First, I made lots of red lines because Lisa's hair is really messy here. I fill it in more in this right area. As I told you before, the light it's different, so the right area of the picture is darker. So I fill this all with the red pencil. Because really it didn't suit the picture to be with a white backspace. And then I fill in the hair again and use the red pencil to correct the messy hair that wasn't necessary, just to give away the impression that she has some hair loosened up. I hope you like it and looking forward to new tutorials. If you have any suggestion, feel free to comment, share and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.
낮에도 이 밤에도 이렇게 너를 원해. Yeah.